Super Mario Galaxy is a game so good that Nintendo blacked out, and then immediately forgot how to make anything like it again. Yeah, I said it, and you bet your buns I mean it. Because as much as Nintendo has tried to change and evolve Mario over the years, they've never made another game that feels like this. The atmosphere, the level design, the music, there's still nothing else like it, and I'm sorry to say, kiddos, but I don't think there ever will be again. But all of this is just a long-winded way to say, this game is dope. It's the bee's knees, the cat's pajamas, the goose's banana. I made that last one up, but you get the idea. So today, I'm gonna yap at you about what makes this game so good, and why you and everyone you know should play it. But more importantly, why Nintendo can't recreate it. So let's take some mushrooms and go on a spiritual journey together, shall we? It's time to preach the good word. As with all good trips, it's important to be in a good headspace before things start getting weird, so let me set the scene for you on why I love this game so much. Oh, and yes, before we start, this is the Old Spice and Mario movie collab. I bought it as a joke, but it smells really good, so I'm keeping it. Okay, anyways, so picture this. It's 2007, you are a tiny-minded idiot child sat in front of your family room TV, you boot up your Wii, click one button, and get blasted by Super Mario Galaxy! And then instantly, with a half-chub, you realize you are in for something different. This isn't your grandma's typical Mario platformer with poopy butt camera controls. Nada! This is a fully recognized 3D space platforming adventure with incredible graphics. Oh, and of course, my future wife. And after poking your floating save file directly in the eyeball, you see it. You're not in the Mushroom Kingdom anymore. You're in space. Planets are tiny, gravity doesn't make sense, the music sounds like it belongs in a movie, and for the first time in your tiny idiot life, you just sit there, awestruck. So, what makes this game so memorable? Why do so many people, myself included, have this as their favorite of all time? And again, more importantly, why can't Nintendo recreate this? Let's dive in. Welcome, nerds, to the meat of this video. And no meat is complete without 3 treats. Oh, we're going to be talking about the 3 core elements of this game. But to start, we're going to go over the movement, which I think is absolutely fire.
Boy, white niggas love movement, boy.
In most Mario games, you run, you jump, you land, and that's it. But Galaxy, it's not that simple, because now you're being thrown around by gravity like a goddamn Italian ping pong ball. And the weird part is that you are almost never fully in control. You jump, gravity decides where you land. You hit a sling start, you're locked in, you cannot get out. You land on a tiny planet. Great, now down is wherever the game decides it is. And yes, I fully understand that sounds like it would feel horrible, but it just doesn't. It's smooth and it feels natural, and it's almost like the game is guiding you without you ever even realizing it. In Odyssey, you have total freedom. You can go anywhere, do anything you want, and kind of mess around however you feel like, but Galaxy doesn't care about any of that. It is constantly pushing you forward. Every single planet leads you into the next idea, and you kind of get guided around and moved from moment to moment. And each of those moments are only amplified by these mechanics, which, yes, on the surface, seem kind of limited, like you really only get a long jump and a spin, but probe the anus of these little mechanics and you see just how deep they really are. Like one day, a few months ago, I was streaming Galaxy on TikTok and there was some skip that seemed like it was just out of reach. But then this absolute gentleman and scholar came into my chat and said, "Hey idiot, you know that if you hold the jump button while you spin, you gain a little bit more height, right?" Yeah, no, I had absolutely no goddamn idea. I've been playing this game for over a decade and beat it more times than I can count, and I'm still learning new things about it. Now, does that say more about me being a moron than the game mechanics being deep? Probably, but that's not the point. The point is, even with a limited moveset, the possibilities still feel endless. And when you start seeing some of the skips that people are pulling off in this game, yeah, it gets ridiculous. But all of that only works because the game is constantly putting you in situations that actually use those mechanics. which is where the level design comes in. Because Galaxy doesn't really have levels in a traditional sense, it has ideas. Every galaxy is basically one concept milked for all she's worth, and then you just move on. Like, you'll have one level where you're slinging around constantly in these space-themed ball sacks, another where gravity flips every 5 seconds, and there's one where you're just on a giant cake for some reason. But that's the best thing about this game, is that there's no filler, there's no downtime, there's no, like, running around for 20 minutes trying to figure out what the hell to do. It just goes idea to idea, and it's incredible. I mean, it is so clear that the devs were flush with ideas, and any ones that they just threw out there randomly probably got put in. Like this watermelon level. Why is this here? Why is this the only time in the entire game we use this mechanic? I have no idea, but it's dope. I mean, when you just look at the sheer number of novel ideas that got tossed into this game, it really becomes no big wonder why they made Galaxy 2. Which, by the way, is exactly why they made a second one. It wasn't because it did well or people really wanted another one. It's because the devs had so many ideas they could not fit them all into one game. Which I don't even understand how that's physically possible. But okay, let's compare Galaxy to a game like Odyssey, which is built around huge sandboxes where you can go around and do whatever you want. Well, don't get me wrong, Galaxy is a great game, minus like 200 moons, but it's a completely different design philosophy. Odyssey wants you to stay in one place and mess around, but Galaxy doesn't let you get comfortable. As soon as your brain figures out what's going on, you get whisked away to the next idea. And that right there is the part that's really hard to recreate. Because at its core, that kind of design is expensive, risky, and it burns through your ideas fast as hell. So unless Nintendo ups the cocaine budget in their idea department, I don't really see this kind of game ever being made again. But back to Galaxy, because even with all of those ideas being shoved down your throat at record speed, it never feels overwhelming. And you can thank the music for 90% of that feeling. Because the music in Super Mario Galaxy is doing a lot of heavy lifting. And I don't mean that it just sounds good, because of course it does. It's one of the best, if not the greatest soundtracks of all time. You can fight me in the comments on that. What I mean is that every single song has character. It fits the themes and ideas of the level it's in. And most importantly, they fucking slap. This was the first time in Nintendo history that they had ever used a fully orchestrated soundtrack. And coming at it from the perspective of every game before, it's one of the first things that you notice. Because now it doesn't sound like a Mario game, it sounds like something bigger. It's like the equivalent of banging without a rubber for the first time. It unlocks a permanently new part of your brain and your wiener. Because in this game, the music isn't there simply to keep you from jumping in silence. But I mean, it is, but it's just as integral to the core experience as that short little Italian MF. Like, imagine half of these levels with no music, or just like a traditional Mario soundtrack. It wouldn't feel magical, it would just feel weird. But because this masterful soundtrack was added, everything feels intentional. And then when you add together the movement and level design, you get something that truly feels and plays differently than everything that came before and everything that came after. And that right there is the main issue. Because basically, everything that we've talked about so far that made this game special is exactly... Okay, so, after hearing all of this, I'm sure you, like me, are wondering why they don't just make Galaxy 3. I mean, surely it would be a hit, right?
Well, no. And yes.
Because looking at games now, that kind of design doesn't really exist anymore. And because Nintendo's philosophy has changed. Modern Mario is built around freedom. Like, look at something like Odyssey, built around huge worlds, open maps, and being able to do whatever you want. And again, that's great, but it also means that something like Galaxy starts to look constrictive by comparison. Smaller spaces, fewer moves, and less control over what Mario is doing. And in today's design landscape, that's not really an option anymore. We want an ever-increasing playthrough that lets the player experience the game however they want. It gave you less, but then made those few things feel endless. It gave you a constant stream of new ideas, used once and then thrown away. It gave you tight, controlled levels designed in a way to make you experience them a certain way. Games like that take a ridiculous amount of ideas, a team willing to burn through them, and a design philosophy that values pacing over freedom. Which is exactly why Nintendo has not gone back to it and probably never will again. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we're ever gonna get anything like Galaxy again. This lovely little lightning in a bottle. Because you can rework it and you can recontextualize it, but you can never recreate what it feels like. And that's why this is the one Mario game they can't recreate. Hi, thanks for watching, nerds. I'm not kidding at all when I said that this is actually my favorite game, so super stoked to be making this video. But honestly, thank you for sticking around to the end of the video, and do not forget to make sure that you're subscribed. Yes, I am specifically talking to you. Well, anyways, I will see you in the next one, no matter what galaxy I get abandoned in. Thanks again for watching. I love you.